What is going on, everyone? This is Eric coming at you from just outside of Hartford, Connecticut. And today we officially know the 2020 NFL playoffs bracket. So, as is tradition, we will quickly do a prediction video here discussing how I think the NFL playoffs will go, who will win the Super Bowl, and everything like that. So, of course, you see the seeds are as follows. So, on the left hand side, we have the AFC. And the first seed is going to be Kansas City. They have a first round bye. Then we have the second seed Buffalo Bills matching up against the seventh seed Indianapolis Colts. The 3 seed Pittsburgh Steelers matching up against the division rivals 6 seed Cleveland Browns. And the 4 seed Tennessee Titans matching up with the 5th seed Baltimore Ravens. On to the right side in the NFC, we have the first seeded Green Bay Packers, who currently have a first round bye as well. And then the 2 seed will be the New Orleans Saints taking on the 7 seed Chicago Bears. The 3 seed Seattle Seahawks playing host to the division rival 6 seed Los Angeles Rams. And lastly, we have the 4th seed Washington football team playing host to the 5th seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we'll start with the AFC. And you can already see I filled in the 1 seeds. They get their first round bye. So we'll start with the Buffalo versus Indianapolis game. And this will be an interesting one. Buffalo's looked very good. Buffalo just walloped Miami. So Buffalo was not playing for anything more than pride because Kansas City had locked up the 1 seed already going into week 17. And Miami was playing for everything. So Buffalo goes, they walloped Miami, sent the Dolphins home. Dolphins end up getting eliminated. So Buffalo is heating up at the exact right time. Indianapolis, on the other hand, has also looked very good. They obviously won a game against the hapless Jags, but it wasn't a pretty win. Now, remember, Jacksonville went 1-15 in 2020, and that one win came against this Indianapolis Colts squad, granted, in Week 1. And they played a very good game, Jacksonville did, against Indianapolis in Week 17. So Indianapolis is kind of trending downward. Now, Phillip Rivers, of course, he has playoff experience. Josh Allen, on the flip side, has a little bit, but Rivers has actually, made it far. Is it enough? No. Buffalo is too good, given the circumstances. Plus, let's not forget that Buffalo is the home team in this game. So Indianapolis goes home. They're sent home packing, and they got to look at their quarterback situation because Rivers is not getting any younger. So next we have the 3 seed Pittsburgh Steelers playing host to the 6 seed Cleveland Browns. And they split their season series 1 apiece. Now, of course, people are going to say, oh, so that means it's a toss-up. Not really, because Week 17 is when the Browns played the Steelers, and the Browns won. And the Browns were playing all their starters. They needed to win to make the playoffs. The Steelers were in the position where they had already clinched the 3 seed. They didn't need to do anything, so they rested a lot of their starters. So, really, you got to look at their first matchup, which Pittsburgh won, to be able to really look at things. Plus, it's in Pittsburgh. Cleveland, I don't have confidence in you. This is going to be obviously Baker Mayfield's first time in the playoffs. This is going to be every Brown's first time in the playoffs, as a Cleveland Brown, because the last time they made it was 2002. So Pittsburgh should be good enough to just take down Cleveland, setting them up for a rematch against Buffalo Bills. But it'll be a good matchup between Pittsburgh and Cleveland. I'm excited to watch it. Cleveland will probably be able to keep it a close competitive game, but Pittsburgh should be able to take them out. And then we have the 4 seed Tennessee Titans taking on the 5 seed Baltimore Ravens. And this is going to be an interesting one. This is going to be an old school game, as we're going to see a lot of running. Both of these teams made their name known on running. Obviously, Derrick Henry has led the NFL in rushing yards for the past 2 seasons, 2019-2020. He eclipsed the 2,000-yard rushing mark here in the 2020 season. So Derrick Henry is going to be the focal point of this offense. But the thing is, Tannehill can run too. He's not the best at it, but he can run. He's no Lamar Jackson, but he can run. And the Titans' defense is okay. They're not the best, but they're not the worst. Now, we've seen teams shut down this Tennessee offense. What you got to do is you got to be able to, shut down, have your secondary, shut down the passing game, and then you can just focus on stopping the run. Now, Baltimore, on the flip side, has Lamar Jackson, the best running quarterback in the NFL, hands down. And at this point in time, at least. And they also have a very strong run offense with players like Gus Edwards, who can definitely take carries. Mark Ingram can take a lot of carries. Now, they don't have the passing game that Tennessee has. And we've seen it before. Now, Marquise Hollywood Brown's looked very good. And the problem is, in the past couple of weeks, but the problem is, he isn't the same player as, say, A.J. Brown. And Lamar's not the same quarterback as Ryan Tannehill. So if Tennessee can shut down the run game, they're going to win this game. So this is going to be a nitty-gritty game. Like I said, it's going to be an old-school game. I think you're going to see Baltimore pull out the victory. Now, you might be saying, why do I think Baltimore is going to pull out the victory here? Simple. That secondary is lethal. That secondary is very good. They should be able to shut down Tannehill's passing game pretty quickly. They'll probably allow a couple big plays here or there, but I just don't think Tennessee has the defense to stop or even slow down the offense of the Ravens. They'll make a couple good plays. I'm sure they'll get a couple sacks, but you can't win a game against Lamar Jackson if you sack him twice. You can't win that game. You got to dominate the trench, and I don't think that they're going to be able to dominate the trench. This is a real toss-up to me, but I do think Baltimore will pull the upset. So that sets up the 1-seed Kansas City Chiefs playing host to the 5-seed Baltimore Ravens and the 2-seed Buffalo Bills playing host to the 3-seed Pittsburgh Steelers. So Kansas City v. Baltimore is going to be a very interesting game. So a lot of people pegged this as a potential AFC Championship matchup before the season began. A lot of people saw Baltimore as a potential sleeper for a Super Bowl run, myself included. So part of me wants the Ravens to pull the upset here with Lamar Jackson, obviously 2019's MVP. Will he be able to do it? Well, let's talk about the Chiefs real quick. So the Chiefs won the 2019 Super Bowl, obviously. And they did it pretty convincingly. Now, what did they do in the offseason? Who did they lose? Their starting right guard. That's pretty much all they lost. And they also haven't really been bit by the injury bug this 2020 season. And their starting right guard, for the record, or left guard, one of their starting guards, it's either left or right, he took the time off to, work on a vaccine. And he's a first responder, so you got to respect that. But who did they add? Oh, just some running back named Le'Veon Bell. You're not scared of Le'Veon Bell because he's not the best. He's not what he was a couple years back. Well, how about Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Does he scare you? Yeah, this Chiefs team added a run game. I'm sorry, Baltimore. I love you guys. I love your run game, but you will not be able to beat Kansas City. It's not going to happen, especially on the road in Arrowhead. So we have the 2-seed Buffalo Bills hosting the 3-seed Pittsburgh Steelers. We saw these two teams play not too long ago. Buffalo trounced them. And as much as I love the pass rush in Pittsburgh with, specifically TJ Watt, who really arguably should be Defensive Player of the Year, arguably, I just don't think TJ Watt himself, with a couple other players, will be able to beat the Bills. Josh Allen's got too much chemistry with Stefon Diggs, which is kind of crazy, seeing as Diggs is still in his first year in Buffalo. But I think the Bills actually have a shot to pull the victory out over Pittsburgh. So that sets up a rematch between the Bills and the Chiefs. Obviously, the Chiefs won their regular season matchup. How will it go this time? So Buffalo is hot at the right time. Buffalo is hot right now. Kansas City is hot. Of course, they lost their Week 17 matchup in a meaningless game against the Chargers, but does that really matter? So this is going to be one of the best championship games that we're going to see, and arguably in the past 10 years, this will be one of the best championship games. Both Buffalo and Kansas City very well could win the Super Bowl this year. There's no denying that. I wouldn't be shocked. And a lot of people will be saying we want the Bills. A lot of people are going to say we want Kansas City. And the Bills Mafia will be going crazy. I'm pretty sure the Chiefs are allowing fans in their stadium right now. I could be dead wrong on that one. So you're going to see Bills Mafia there for this game. No doubt. Bills Mafia will show up. This is their real run here. Josh Allen v. Patrick Mahomes, pair of the heavyweights in the AFC. Tyreek Hill taking on, Stefon Diggs in a battle, essentially. Different receivers, I know, speed versus just catching yards after catch. The defenses are going to match up well. This is going to be one heck of a game. And unfortunately for Buffalo, I think you're 1 year away from being able to knock off Kansas City. So I believe that Kansas City will take home the AFC crown, their second straight AFC championship. So I believe Kansas City will be representing the AFC in the 2020-2021 NFL Super Bowl, Super Bowl 55. So now we're going to go to the NFC. And of course, we're going to start off with the 2-seed New Orleans Saints taking on the 7-seed Chicago Bears. Now, when these two teams met earlier in the season, it was right towards midseason, they went into overtime and the Saints won on a field goal. This game was played in Chicago, so big advantage to Chicago there. This playoff game is in New Orleans. So New Orleans has, obviously, Drew Brees. He's been there. He's won the Super Bowl before. He's played a lot of these big games. Chicago is going to be led by Mitchell Trubisky. Trubisky's had himself an underrated season. There's no denying that. The team has looked far better with him than without him as a starter. I believe it's something like they're 5-2 with him as a starter. Something pretty good. They're good with him with the starter, not as good without. Or it's better than 5-2, but anyway, Chicago is in position where they can win, but they just got walloped by the Green Bay Packers, who were playing for nothing, who were playing for a bit of for playoff seeding, I should say. They weren't playing for nothing, but they got demolished. And the Bears weren't they hadn't clinched a playoff berth yet, so they very well could have gone home if they lost. They just got lucky that Arizona lost, so they made the playoffs. But I just don't see the New Orleans Saints giving any leeway to Chicago. This will be a New Orleans victory as the Saints go marching into the divisional round. Now we have the 3-seed Seattle Seahawks playing host to the 6-seed LA Rams. And these two teams split the season series. Both of the teams won at home. So Seattle lost the first game, but they won the Week 16 matchup in Seattle. Now, notably, in that Week 16 matchup, Rams quarterback Jared Goff obviously had an injury to his thumb. He is questionable at this point in time for the wild card matchup against Seattle. With or without him, either way, I like Seattle over the Rams. And that's because Russell Wilson. Now, this is the Russell Wilson show, and that's not necessarily good because the Seahawks offense is running through Russell Wilson. The Rams defense just isn't good enough, in my opinion, to stop the Russell Wilson show from doing what it does best, win games. And that's just the problem with the Rams right now. Yes, they have arguably the best defensive player of our lifetimes right now on that team in Aaron Donald. But the problem is football is a team sport. Aaron Donald can't do everything himself. Now, there are other good players in LA. I get that. But Seattle just has too much. If DK Metcalf can get himself back together, if that run game, Chris Carson, get himself back together, Seattle's going to win this game, hands down, no questions asked, with or without Goff. If Goff plays and the Seahawks offense struggles off the bat, it's going to be a close one, but I just don't think the Rams can pull off the upset. Lastly, we have the 4-seed Washington football team taking on the 5th-seed Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So these two teams did not play in the regular season, and Washington obviously makes the playoffs at 7-9. Now, in this era of football, there have been two teams to make the playoffs with a below 500 record. Both of those teams ended up winning their first round matchups. So, of course, it's always, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, Washington's this, Washington's that. Washington is the team of adversity, of course. We know Ron Rivera underwent cancer treatments. This was his first year as head coach of the Washington team. Obviously, we saw the whole situation with Dwayne Haskins. So, there's that. And it's going to be a very, very, very interesting situation when it comes to Washington. There's a lot of talent on that defensive line. No doubt. Chase Young, defensive rookie of the year, unquestioned defensive rookie of the year. If he doesn't win, there's going to be a lot of pissed off fans, myself included. Chase Young has just been dominant. He's already an unquestioned leader in that clubhouse. What does that tell you right there? Your rookie is a leader. But I keep talking about Washington and their team of adversity, obviously with Alex Smith. How's Tampa Bay? So Tampa Bay is a very good team as well. Obviously led by Tom Brady. It's gonna be a strong team. Now the real question, of course, we saw Mike Evans. He had his 7th consecutive 1,000-yard season to open his career. That's an NFL record. No one else has done that before. But he ends up hurting his knee. Now they're saying the knee injury is not serious, but you really have to question, Is he going to be playing in the wild card round after suffering a knee injury? He'll probably, if he plays, he's probably going to be hobbled, which is, of course, a massive red flag if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. But your offense is still there. You still got Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown. So the weapons are there. The question is, will the pass rush be able to get to Brady early and often? If that Washington pass rush can get to Brady, Washington will win this game because Brady will start to see some ghosts of NFC East teams in the past. Remember, he's 1-3 in the Super Bowl against the NFC East. This is his first time in the NFC playoffs. So he's matching up against another NFC East team. How will he fare against them? I do like his chances. It's going to be one heck of a game. Now, a lot of people are giving Washington garbage and the NFL garbage for a 7-9 team hosting a playoff game while the 10-6 Dolphins missed the playoffs. Case in point, 2014 Panthers made the playoff with a 7-8-1 record. They hosted a playoff game. The 10-6 Eagles sat out the playoffs. No one cared about that back then. I don't know why it's different this year. Washington will play this Tampa Bay team very well. The pass rush should dominate this game for Washington. But I just think Tom Brady is going to be able to find his receivers early enough and often enough. I really want to see Washington take home the victory. But I just think Tampa Bay is too good. So that sets us up with a divisional round matchup between the 1-seed Green Bay Packers and the 5-seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as well as the 2-seed New Orleans Saints playing host to the 3-seed Seattle Seahawks. For those of you wondering, the only way this is literally my worst nightmare for playoffs. I despise all four of these teams, and I despise Tampa because of Brady, solely because of Brady. So, yeah, worst case scenario other than Dallas over Tampa. So, 1-seed Green Bay taking on 5-seed Tampa Bay. So, let's talk about Green Bay real quick. That offense has looked amazing. Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, both have looked spectacular this year. So, of course, Aaron Rodgers is more likely than not going to be your MVP this year. How does he fare against Tom Brady? Pretty well. Green Bay also has a strong pass rush, but their linebacking and secondary cores are not the strongest. Tampa Bay doesn't have the best pass rush, doesn't really stop the run. So this will be a high-scoring game for different reasons. Rodgers will be able to find Devontae Adams unquestioned. Devontae Adams is an animal on the field, so he's going to have himself one heck of a game, I'm predicting. And Rodgers will have himself a heck of a game in this offensive shootout that I'm excited to watch, and you should be excited to watch this. This will be one heck of a game that Green Bay should be able to win. They should be able to force more turnovers, even if it's just because Tampa Bay doesn't necessarily have the running game. Ronald Jones is good, but remember, Ronald Jones has been dealing with a broken finger and a certain virus. So I think Green Bay is going to pull this out. Now we have the 2-seed New Orleans Saints taking on the 3-seed Seattle Seahawks. This will be an interesting battle between the two teams. And the real question is Seattle healthy at this point? If Seattle is healthy against New Orleans, Seattle has a real chance. Why? Simple. The blueprint of teams that beat the Saints this year is a running quarterback. So I think Seattle will pull the upset here against the Saints. Drew Brees, one heck of a season. Will Brees retire at the end of this year? Maybe. Probably not, but you never know. Now, Seattle, of course, they've had a lot of struggles on offense as well. So this is far from a gimme. I'm taking a shot in the dark by saying that. But I think Seattle has the talent to pull the upset over New Orleans. Obviously, New Orleans is in an interesting position themselves where Drew Brees, like I said, he might retire at the end of the season. Now, they also have Taysom Hill. But Michael Thomas hasn't really played much, and he hasn't looked that good when he's been playing. He ended the regular season with 0 touchdowns. Keep that in mind. So, Jared Cook's had to step up, and other players have had to step up. Brees hasn't had the season people were expecting him to, but Alvin Kamara has. Alvin Kamara has had one heck of a regular season. Obviously, he missed week 17. So, the real question for him, too, is will he be back to full strength? I think they'll beat the Bears, no question, even if Kamara is not at 100%. But can they beat the Seahawks without Alvin Kamara at 100%? let's just say he's at 80%. I think Seattle will pull this upset. So that sets up my NFC Championship game between the 1 seed Green Bay Packers playing host to the 3 seed Seattle Seahawks. This is a battle between two very strong fan bases, two devoted fan bases. But because this game is in Lambeau Field with MVP Aaron Rodgers playing host, sorry Seattle, your team is good, but I don't think you're going to be able to survive the pass rush of Aaron Rodgers' Packers, and your secondary is not going to be able to stop the Packers. So it's going to be one very good battle between these two teams, but I think Green Bay is going to be able to win this game by 10 or so points. Like I said, Lambeau Field is an outdoor field. Yes, Seattle plays in Seattle. I get that. They get snow there, but they mostly get rain because they're on the coast. But they also play in a dome. So Green Bay, outdoor, Lambeau. If it snows, Green Bay will win this game handily. If it's a lukewarm day, that favors Seattle a bit. But the colder it is, the better the Packers are going to do. So that sets up my Super Bowl 55 matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending champion, and the Green Bay Packers. So this will be Aaron Rodgers trying to prove that he deserves more years and that Green Bay messed up by picking Jordan Love in the first round of 2020. This is Kansas City trying to prove that they're the next Tom Brady, Bill Belichick duo with Mahomes and Reed, respectively. So how's this game going to go? Offensive shootout. The defenses are both there, but they're not the same. Will we see a rematch of like the Super Bowl 52 where they set the record for the most yards in a game? Possibly. Definitely possibly. Now, Green Bay's pass rush will be able to get to Mahomes. Can they keep Mahomes under pressure this whole game? The more pressure Mahomes is under, the more likely Green Bay is to win. But Kansas City has a better run game. All right, so Clyde Edwards-Helaire, very, very good player, obviously. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire should be able to help this team. Le'Veon Bell right there as well. So the two of them can take the ball. They can both dominate the run. And if Green Bay can't stop the run, they're in trouble. They're done. If Sammy Watkins plays, assuming Tyreek Hill's healthy and everything like that, Kansas City will run away with this game. This will be an offensive battle between the MVP and possibly the MVP runner-up in Mahomes. So this is going to be one good game. They both have something to prove. They both have Super Bowl rings. Kansas City, like I said, they want to show that they're a dynasty. Green Bay wants to prove, Rodgers wants to prove it. Rodgers is on a mission this year. This will be arguably the closest game. So when I was doing my research before, I said Kansas City, then I changed my mind, then I went back, then I changed my mind. And I'm still debating my mind here, but I'm going to say that you're going to see the Kansas City Chiefs repeat as Super Bowl champions, and it will be one battle, one pretty good game. This will be a Super Bowl that you want to watch, but like I said too, I just don't think Green Bay can stop the run while disrupting Mahomes and shut down the pass. Kevin King commits a lot of errors for that team in Green Bay. So, yeah. But that is how I predict the 2020 playoffs will go. Kansas City will win its second consecutive Super Bowl. Mahomes and Reed will cement themselves as a really good quarterback head coach duo without the drama of the Brady Belichick regime. Buffalo, I really think Buffalo could pull the upset over Kansas City. I do have to point that out. To me, Buffalo is probably the second best team in the NFL right now. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Any questions, any comments, please feel free to say it in the chat. If you like some of my picks, if you don't like some of my picks, please feel free to leave it in the comments. Have a good rest of your day. And if you want me to tell you who I'm going to root for this playoffs, pretty simple. Let's go Buffalo.